Brian Ross from ABC 2020. How are you?
Last week in New York, Senator Clinton would not even say if she recalled meeting Peter Paul. She said she didn't want to talk about his allegations.
I'm just not going to comment on it. It is not anything that I'm going to have anything to say about it.
Do you recall Mr. Paul? Do you recall working with him at all?
If the judge allows it, Paul says he will call as witnesses every one of the A-list stars he invited to the big party to see what they recall. For a lot of reasons, for a lot of people, it may truly be a night to remember. In fact, Paul's home videos picked up Mrs. Clinton, saying she had stopped using email messages because of all the investigations she had been through.
Isn't that just been investigated and all that? You know, why would why would I ever want to do email?
No,
can you imagine?
no.
Paul says he put up $30,000 to be the co-host of the lunch. And in total, he estimates he has canceled checks and other documents showing more than $1.5 million in direct and so-called. And seated right behind the Clintons was a Japanese businessman by the name of Tendo Odo, an associate of Paul's, who gave Paul $27,000 to attend the fundraiser. Citizens of foreign countries are prohibited from giving money to federal campaigns.
You told Mrs. Clinton's staff you had $27,000
Right.
from a Japanese citizen.
Right.
A picture that night shows Odo being escorted into the concert by Paul and the Clinton staff. Odo told 2020 he was unaware the $27,000 sent to Paul could be considered an illegal contribution.
Did anybody ever tell you you must return that? You can't take money from a...
No one ever told me anything about the money. And ultimately, they promised to invite Mr. Odo to the last state dinner at the White House.
And sure enough, 2 months later, there was Odo attending the state dinner for the Prime Minister of India. But for all his efforts, Paul's scheme fell apart just a few days after the big party, when a story broke about his criminal record in the Washington Post. Paul says the Clinton staff quickly distanced itself from him and returned a small $2,000 check he had given earlier in the year.
What they said was, oh, who? Peter Paul? Oh, yeah, I think he was a producer of the event. He gave the $2,000, we forgot about it, but we're sending it back. We wouldn't take any money from him. What an absurdity. Everybody knew.
But Paul says the Clinton staff told him to go along with the story, and he did.
Well, I had no choice. I mean, if you just pay $2 million to have a relationship with some people, you're not going to turn around and call them liars in the Washington Post.
This between was Ed Rendell, the chairman of the Democratic Party, with whom he and his wife Andrea.
Ed called me a couple of weeks later and hit me up for some money for the National Constitution Center.
So what did you say to that request?
Well, I said to him, come back to me when you can give me some answers about, what I'm interested in. Didn't get anything. And they abandoned me.